Ladies and gentlemen, today is June 8th, 2013, and usually I try to do, you know, uplifting things on Saturdays, but today I can't because I already messed up the video that I was planning on doing for that, and there's a reason. And I'm going to say this one last time, and I'm not going to go back to it, okay? I've been dragged into this, and this is my fault, and I'm making an apology to everyone because I fell victim to the very PSYOP operation that keeps us from addressing the real problems in this country. Okay, and I'm referring to the homosexual, pedophilia, abortion issue that I have been going back and forth with on one or two people on one of my videos. I think it's in Line in the Sand. I'm not really sure right now. But, you know, those things, we get involved in that because they're so emotionally charged. And that was done on purpose. When the DOJ sent out that thing to everybody in the Department of Justice saying that they can't use the words husband or wife, which I talked about on the video, not that one, but it was another one, which is why I brought all this up. In deference to homosexuals and gays and lesbians, those alternative lifestyles, so that heterosexual freedom of speech is limited, that's what got me upset. Because I see that happening everywhere. It's happening with Christians in the military. It's happening with gun rights advocates who are put down by, you know, all these different organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center. They're trying to make our speech illegal. And that's wrong. And that's really what my issue was. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. I really don't. Just don't force it on my family, on my friends. That's the issue. And that's what all this is about. It's trying to force it so that we have to accept it. No, we don't. Okay? And no, we shouldn't have our rights curtailed to take care of that kind of a perversion. And I'm never going there again. I got sucked into this, and I'm really upset at myself that I allowed it to happen, even having to clear it up this far. If you want to see my arguments, go on the last 3 or 4 videos. It's in there. All I will say is that abortion, the passing of your children through the fire of Molech, sacrificing your children, okay, that's satanic. It's Luciferian. Abortion is that. Homosexuality is used. They don't always like homosexuality, but it's used to cause problems in a society. And they push it. And our society has sure been filled with that the last at least 5-10 years, if not more. And then, of course, pedophilia. All of those are used in the dark side to bind forces in darkness. And it's not just the behavior. I don't care what you do in your bedroom, but we can't have that stuff put out and sold as if it's normal and trendy and fashionable. And I'll just say this from Isaiah, okay? I was going to do this anyway. I might as well at this point. Again, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you run your life. Just don't force it on anybody else. And this is the point. Their sin is as Sodom, they hide it not. That's my issue. Okay? Now, I'm never going to get dragged down that hole again because it is emotionally charged and it has a lot to do with the dark side, and I could explain it, but I realize that it's not going to do any good. So I'm going to go back to the things that are really going to cause us a problem because these things are coming down right now. A little lightened up here on this. A lot of you people, and I covered a lot of this on my video earlier, but I just have to cut a lot of that out. A lot of you folks have been so wonderful. The caliber and the thoughtfulness of your posts on my site, I can't tell you how much I appreciate. You actually have taught me things. And of course I realize that would happen. No one person knows it all. We help each other. Okay, and I think I've said that before. And especially in the last few weeks, it's just been phenomenal, and I just want to thank you for that. Some people have given me very good intelligence information. Some people have given me good news information, kept me up to date almost before things happened. So I appreciate that. And we're going to get into a couple of those today. By now, it's probably out. It was on my earlier video. I thought I'd have it posted by now. But anyway, talking about these people, there are occasions where some of you have just downright inspired me. And I want to thank you for that. And I'm going to talk about one right here, right now. Because of all the terrible things that are going on, we're really uptight about this. If you're watching it all, if your eyes and ears are open, you know what's happening. And so a lot of us, including myself, we're worried. Okay? And this is what this person sent to me. Lamb and the Dragon. Thank you. And you can go on, it was one of the last three videos, I'm sorry, I don't remember which one right now. Lamb and the Dragon talked about that the father, he's talking about God, of course, or she, whoever this is putting the fertilizer on the field. Okay? In other words, the elitist plans are nothing more than dung being placed on those who have the good seed. Okay? To awaken their consciousness, to awaken them to right and wrong, to awaken them to their self-individualization. As painful as what this does, the evil, the death, the destruction, the sickness, the perversions, all of those things, as bad as it is, good seed on good ground, even with fertilizer, that stinky, smelly poison if you ingest it. But if it's used right, it grows plants strong. Lamb and the Dragon, that was the very best metaphor I have ever seen on this issue. And I want to thank you for it. Opposition causes the good seed, the good spirits, the good people to awaken to their situation, awaken the consciousness, choose the right, and that's great. So we have to thank God for the opportunity for the opposition, even though this is a very painful, painful process. I pray for the lives and the welfare of everybody on this, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what a possible partial solution is in a few minutes. So, Lamb and the Dragon, thanks a lot. Dollar plunged. If you go take a look at it, it looks like a hockey stick in reverse. Just want to warn you about that. Go take a look. I was on the Pete Santilli show again today, 6/8 Saturday. I think it's going to be episode 441. I don't know. He actually called me up because of all the things that are happening. And I really appreciate this, Pete. To think that you would consider my counsel worthwhile to hear. I appreciate that. I'm not certain that that's entirely the case, but I have been thinking about it, and you called it a very interesting time that I was thinking about this, because I've kind of mentioned it before. And here's where I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to come back to it probably again a little bit later. What can we do? Okay? The criminals in the government are not going to allow you to unseat them. It has gone too far. McCain, Graham, Obama, Holder. Oh, Holder might end up resigning to put this thing off. But I'm talking about the establishment, the people that have put themselves in there to take us down. You are not going to get rid of them. Not without blood. Not now. It just isn't going to happen. So what can you do? Well, the states are dividing up, and a lot of this is deliberate too, to weaken us all, but it's really the only opportunity we have short of God stepping in. And this might be kind of the initial steps of that. Gather you in the holy place. Separate. Holy means separate in Hebrew. It doesn't mean the concept that a lot of us think. It means separate. Now separate yourself. And I've said that. Come out of Babylon. Get out of the states that are dangerous to you, like California and New York and even Washington State, maybe. I don't know. But there are a lot of them out there. Illinois for sure. Things like that. Okay? And go to the places where there are constitutional governments, people that believe in the Bill of Rights and will stand for it. Texas. And I know there are some problems with Rick Perry and some other things going on down there. We all have these problems, but we got to get to a place where we can at least take a stand. Because these people in the federal government, and even in your local governments, this is everywhere. This thing has entirely infiltrated all across the spectrum. And it is that bad. It really is. But if we can get to states, that have a basic core understanding and are willing to stand up to the feds, like the Kansas governor did, like Rick Perry did on the gold thing, and the TSA issue. I hope that's still up. And there have been others. You know, you're just going to have to leave these states like California and New York, those types that want to take away your liberties and go along with the federal government and anything, and go to these other states. I know that's an expense, it's difficult, but I'm going to tell you right now, even if you have county sheriffs, and I know there are some in California that are standing up for the Second Amendment, you're not going to be able to withstand the onslaught of your state who is supporting the federal government. You're just going to have to try to get people around you. That's what I mean by like-minded people. And that includes local and state governments that can help bring people together and protect your rights under God. Okay? And I talk about that a little in the Pete Santilli show. It's really come down to where I'm really starting to see some really, really bad things here. Anybody who's keeping their eyes open, they know too. Okay, so this isn't anything new. It's very, very concerning. All right, I'm going to jump over to this thing with the NSA and Clapper. This James Clapper's a demon, and I'll tell it to his face, to say that he's going to invoke the military and state secrets privilege. Well, let me tell you when that started. In 1953, there was a B-29 crash, and the family members wanted to find out what happened, and they invoked it then. And I don't know what the deal was, but you know what? That didn't involve somebody's Fourth or Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution. It didn't involve freedom of the press, in that you're trying to squash journalism. You see the difference? The NSA is putting this up there. Obama, Holder, James Clapper, all these guys in the government are putting up this state secret thing, but it's what they've done is violated their oaths of office. They've committed crimes, and they've violated the Constitution. That cannot be protected. I'm sorry. We cannot allow them to protect that criminal, unconstitutional, treasonous behavior by invoking the military and state secrets privilege. It cannot apply in this situation. And the fact that they are using it shows that they are covering up criminal behavior, from Benghazi to Fast and Furious to all of these executive orders, the real purpose behind them, to you know what's going, virtually everything. But this attack on the journalists at this point in time is the real key to where this is going. They want to shut you up. And this whole surveillance thing, which was helped to be put in by Petraeus, which was one reason why I was trying to get him to come back over the other side, because as you know now, he's over at Bilderberger helping them set this thing up on a larger system. The whole purpose of it is to find people that think for themselves, believe in liberty and freedom, and the good things. Of course, I know that's by definition. But that's what it's for. You know, they keep saying, oh, well, we've stopped terrorist activity. Oh, this is to stop terrorists. You notice they never tell you what the definition of a terrorist is. Oh, they've done it in the MIAC report, right? They tell you it's Christians, you know, it's veterans, it's gun advocates. How come they're not listing Islamicists anymore? And I don't mean all Islamicists are bad, but I'm talking about how they first instituted this thing with the supposed Al-Qaeda and Islamic jihadists, the extremists. You notice they hardly even talk about that anymore. Oh, they had to go back to that whole scenario now to get people to come along with the Boston bombing and probably some other things that are coming down the pike. But the real purpose of all this is to gather information on you, and I've told you this before, so that they can pigeonhole you and know if you're going to fall in line behind their dictates or not. They are subverting our government. They have destroyed it. Rush Limbaugh called it a coup d'etat, without a shot being fired so far. But you can bet that if any court really seriously goes after them, or anybody in Congress really seriously goes after them, those people are going to be up in a shooting fight. You can bet it, because they are not going to allow their power that they've worked on for this last 100 years to get where they are to be taken away in a heartbeat. They won't do it. They will murder millions of people before they'll allow that to happen. I'm just warning you. That's why I'm saying, if you're in these places where you have no backup, you've got to get out now. There's no time to waste. And that's no guarantee that states like Utah and Wyoming, who had good laws on the books to get the feds out of there, turn their back on it. And I know that. Texas is still working on some things. Alabama, Montana, Kansas. But you can't stay in these places where the state government will assist the feds in destroying your lives and the lives of your loved ones. It's that critical now, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm really on this now because, again, the evidence is all there. All right. So you know how I feel about the NSA's claim by James Clapper and by the Obama administration that all of these things have to do with state secrets and they don't have to talk about it. No, these are violations of the basic tenets of the Constitution, not covering up, a plane crash. This is really bad stuff. And I think people are starting to wake up to it. People like myself and Pete Santilli and, Alex Jones and how many others that we want to talk about have been talking about this for how long? And here it is. So we're in a lot of trouble. All right. Actually, I guess that's probably all I'm going to do because I really came unglued today. Good things always, and bad things are speeding up. I don't know how much time we have. You've probably heard about the situation with the DHS informant. And I don't know how much credence to put on this, but that they're going to move at lightning speed now. That we may not even make it through the July 4th holiday before all this really comes down. I don't know if that's true or not. But when I look at the events surrounding all of that, I can see how that would happen, especially now. Stand by your county sheriffs that are willing to stand for the Constitution, even if you have to take up arms to defend them. And that's what I said on the Pete Santilli show today. It goes along with my line in the sand. And it might have to be even something more than that. Because these criminals are not going to relinquish power. They aren't going to do it. You may get rid of Holder. You may get rid of Obama, but the people pushing these systems of control and slavery are going to keep it up. Look at McCain and Graham. Yes, we're in a lot of trouble. Okay, I've gone through a lot of things here, but I'm going to say it one more time, you need to escape to safer places. Separate yourselves from this juggernaut of destruction that's coming down the pike. We may not be able to get away from it, but you've got to at least try. We need you.